primates that live in remote tropical and subtropical forests. Moreover, mountain gorillas were thought to be nothing more than mythical creatures until they were discovered in 1907. Bigfoot is reported to be a large primate that lives in remote tropical, subtropical, and temperate forests. Moreover, Bigfoot is thought to be just a mythical creature. Hence, I believe that the discovery of the actual living Bigfoot is bound to happen any day now. Inductive or deductive first?
Inductive.
It's certainly inductive. What kind?
Prediction.
That's a second best answer.
I kind of want to say cause and effect.
Nah, I don't know what that reason is. Analogy, that's right. We're comparing mountain gorillas to Bigfoot. Notice that we're saying, hey, this one lived in these places, this one's supposed to have lived in these places, and blah, blah, blah. We're saying they're alike, right? Similarly. So we're comparing those mountain gorillas to Bigfoot. Mountain gorillas have the quality of being real, and so we're saying, so similarly, I think Bigfoot is actually real too. Now, it is kind of making a prediction, but it's making a prediction by way of an analogy, and that's why analogy is the best answer. Does everybody understand that? Okay. 3 skunks have been trapped within the county during the last week. All 3 tested positive for rabies. We can only assume then that all skunks within the county are infected with rabies.
Inductive.
Yes, what flavor?
Generalization.
Perfect. Okay. Anyone who is 18 years or older is considered a legal adult in our state. The carjacker was tried as a juvenile. Hence, he must have been under the age of 18 when he committed the crime.
Deductive.
What?
Deductive.
Yes.
By definition.
Perfect. Everybody understand that? Okay. The area of a 4-inch by 7-inch rectangle is 28 square inches. Hence, the area of a triangle with sides 4 by 7 inches is 14 square inches.
Deductive.
By? I'm going to probably accept geometry or mathematical reasoning on that. Okay. I have replaced the 2-foot crowbar with a 4-foot crowbar. Given the law of simple machines, I have now multiplied the amount of force that I can exert.
Deductive from scientific law.
Perfect. Deductive from a scientific law. I have owned several golden retrievers, and all of them have been good family dogs. Joe has also owned several golden retrievers. All of his dogs were good family dogs as well. Surely golden retrievers are good family dogs.
Inductive generalization.
Inductive generalization. Took a sample and made a claim about the population. Okay, perfect. Dan went to the beach yesterday and fell asleep while sunbathing. He ended up having to go to the hospital that night to have his sunburn treated. Dan must not have applied sunblock.
Inductive.
Mm-hmm.
Prediction. Or no, cause it.
Yes, cause and effect reasoning, because we're going to the effect back to the cause, and because we're not making a claim about the future, that's why it can't be a prediction, right? Cause and effect going from cause to effect could count as a prediction, but not when you're going from effect back to the cause, okay? The expected value of the toss of a fair die is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 divided by 6, or 3.5. On several occasions, I've rolled a fair die 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, and calculated the average value for each session. The results have always been the same. The average value for the sessions with more trials was always closer to the expected value than the sessions with fewer trials. Hence, it seems fair to say the larger the number of trials, the closer the calculated average approaches the expected value. Call this result the law of large numbers.
Inductive.
Inductive and
Statistics or theory.
To a scientific law.
to a scientific law. right? And I even put that in, call this result the law of large numbers. That was like my giant slap you in the face hint. Okay, 20. Fisheries biologist Dr. J. Lindquist says invasive species ought to be eliminated from their non-native environments, else they destroy the native ecological system. Snakeheads are a species of fish that are non-native to North America, and yet they have appeared in North American waters. Given Lindquist's expertise, snakeheads ought to be eliminated from North American waters. Inductive, I'll give you that, but appeal to authority. Do you see that? Okay. All right. Yes.
Can you explain appeal to authority?
It's when you're saying so-and-so says so, and then you derive a conclusion based off them being the authority that so-and-so, right? So if a historian tells me that so-and-so is true, and I argue, well, such and such is true because this expert told me, that's an appeal to authority, right? Now, experts don't have to necessarily be a person, right? Once upon a time, encyclopedias were the authority that we would appeal to, right? Or like when you say that, this element has a atomic weight of so-and-so, you might be looking at the periodic table on the wall, right, in your chemistry class, and so you're appealing to the authority of the periodic table. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Other questions about this? Yes?
So, generally speaking, if and then clauses are not necessarily inductive arguments, right?
An if-then by itself is a conditional and therefore a non-argument. Okay. If-thens can be used as premises in arguments and or as conclusions. By themselves, they are non-arguments, right? And it is true that no claim is supported by evidence, which is one of our categories, but if that's true because it's conditional, I want you to say conditional instead of no claim supported by evidence. Does everybody understand that there's plenty of claims that aren't supported by evidence that have nothing to do with conditionals? So if it's just a conditional, you're going to say conditional. Okay? Questions? Any more? Okay, so I'm going to look over the test right now, which is now available for you, and give you any hints that I think might be necessary. Part 1 is worth 40%, and that's arguments versus non-arguments. Remember, if you say it's a non-argument, don't just say non-argument, say non-argument and tell me which kind, and make sure you're picking the best answer, okay? And I will be giving partial credit for, if you say it's a non-argument, you'll get partial credit, and you get full credit if you get the right kind. If you say it's an argument, you need to get the conclusion right. Does everybody understand that? Okay. I'm not trying to trick you, so I don't see anything. There's lots of mentions of Formula One, but you can figure these out with having no knowledge of Formula One. That's not necessary. This is important. Suppose we have something of this basic structure. X because Y. Okay. Now, something with this kind of indicator word could be an argument or an explanation. Okay, well, how do we tell the difference? Well, on this structure, blank because blank, this one would be the potential conclusion. Okay, so how do I tell if this is an argument or an explanation? How do I tell? Tell me about X.
What did that next?
Well, no, because is saying, there's something about X that is the difference between whether we should consider this an argument or an explanation. And here's the difference. If X is accepted as fact, right, then you're dealing with an explanation. Because remember, arguments are only attempts to prove things that are uncertain, true or probably true. Does everybody understand that? So if this is in doubt or not known to be true, then you would consider the thing an argument. So identify what would be the conclusion if it was an argument. Ask yourself, is this generally accepted as true? If the answer is yes, then it's an explanation. If the answer is no, then they're trying to prove that it is so. Everybody got the difference? Okay. Remember, look for indicator words. Part 2 is induction versus deduction. You have to tell me whether it's inductive or deductive, and again, partial credit, you gotta get the first part right. You get half credit in the second part right, which kind it is to get the full credit, right? And so remember, go